Pharaonic civilization, ancient Egyptian civilization, the ancient kingdom in Pharaonic Egypt, the age of pyramid, and achievements of the Old Kingdom in Pharaonic Egypt, the age of the pyramids builders. The ancient kingdom of Pharaonic Egypt, the ancient state of Pharaonic Egypt, or what is known as the era of the pyramid builders. When did the era of the ancient state of Egypt begin and when did it end? Who is the first king of the ancient state of Egypt? The beginning of the ancient state of Pharaonic Egypt. King Zesar or King Natrit. King Djoser, a member of the Third Egyptian dynasty. He was the first king of that era, the owner of the Pyramid of Djoser located in Saqqara. The Step Pyramid of King Djoser is considered one of the most famous monuments in Egypt. In addition to its huge size, it is the first pyramid built by the ancient Egyptians and the oldest known stone building. The age of the building of the Step Pyramid dates back to the beginning of the Third Dynasty. Before his reign, kings and the elite of the Egyptians were buried in terraces. The term mastaba refers to a type of funerary structure that was generally rectangular in shape and built over a burial pit, which was underground. The Step Pyramid consists of 6 terraces that give the step shape. Perhaps the engineer Imhotep was the owner of this great innovation. At one end of the hierarchical group is a building known as the Southern Cemetery, which is considered a symbolic tomb of King Djoser that may have reflected his role as king of Upper and Lower Egypt. During that period, the engineer and minister Imhotep supervised the construction of the Pyramid of Djoser. Although it is the first pyramid in Egypt. However, it was not the traditional form of the current pyramids. Engineer Imhotep designed a step pyramid made of stone. And on it were carved pictures of trees and after pictures that convey to us the form of the other life. The Pyramid of Djoser is one of the works that show us the features of that era. Architecture is not the only field in which the ancient Egyptians excelled. They also excelled in art and religion as well as technology, which is not as well defined as it is today. Is one of the arts that the Egyptians excelled in. They appear in inscriptions and paintings, whether found in funerary buildings, tombs, or in temples. Agriculture was also one of the flourishing fields in this era. The flood and the presence of resources which led to the storage and availability of goods. The prosperity of the ancient kingdom in Pharaonic Egypt. The Fourth Dynasty was the one who ruled Egypt and was a strong reason for its prosperity in that period. The rule of the Fourth Dynasty was characterized by strength and the ability to develop ancient Egypt in more than one respect. The power of the priesthood began to flourish during the Fifth and Sixth Dynasties. Khufu and the Great Pyramid. The Great Pyramid, or better known as the Pyramid of King Khufu, 2589 to 2566 BC, with its original height of 146.5 millimeters was the tallest building in the world for 3,800 years. It is also one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world that remains now. The Great Pyramid was built of local limestone. Whereas in ancient times it was entirely covered with high-quality limestone. 2 dismantled large boats were discovered in pits on the southern side of the Great Pyramid. It was believed that they were used to transport the king's mummy and funerary furniture to the pyramid. The height of the pyramid is currently 138.7 meters. But in the past, the height was 147 meters. And that percentage was due to the loss of the pyramid's lime covering. The pyramid was gypsum and sand in addition to stone and water with lime powder. The ceiling of the inner corridors of the pyramid is made of polished granite. There are 3 chambers in the pyramid. The first chamber, which is the king's chamber. The second room is the queen's room. The third room was incomplete, so the reason for its existence has not been identified. Kafr. The Pyramid of Kafr is the second largest pyramid in Giza after the Pyramid of Khufu. The son of King Khufu, his pyramidal group in the Giza plateau next to his father's group. And his pyramid appears higher than the Pyramid of Khufu because it is on a higher hill, although in fact it is less in height, where it is about 143.5 meters. The core of the pyramid is made of blocks of local limestone. The top of the pyramid still retains its original covering made of luxurious limestone. The Egyptians brought it from the quarries of Torah by boats anchored near the pyramid, located at the foot of his pyramid. And its valley temple at the front of the ascending road. They are the largest among the temples of any other hierarchical group. Another architectural development that occurred during the reign of Kafr is the complexity of the design of those temples, where the elements that make up his mortuary temple became the new standard that was followed in the old state after it. While the Kafr group was alone, there is a huge statue next to the valley temple that has never been seen before, the Great Sphinx. As for the valley temple, it consists of huge blocks of limestone, covered with granite, while the floors are covered with alabaster. Its spacious courtyard includes monolithic granite columns. The niches carved into the walls of the plaza were arranged symmetrically along the walls to house statues of the king. Some of them are currently on display in the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir. One of them is the famous statue of Kafr made of granite with the falcon of Horus standing behind his head. It is a statue that is considered one of the masterpieces of ancient Egyptian art. Sphinx. Colossal statues are one of the distinguishing features of the ancient Egyptian civilization. The Great Sphinx in Giza is the most famous of them. The ancient Egyptian sphinxes represented the king in the body of a lion as a clear indication of his power. Evidence indicates that the Sphinx was carved during the reign of King Khafra, about 2525 to 2532 BC. The Great Sphinx and its temple are located in front of it right next to the temple of Wadi Khafra and the lower part of the ascending road leading to his mortuary temple in the pyramid. Careful archaeological analysis revealed that the valley temple was finished before work began on the Sphinx and its temple. While the analysis of the features of the Sphinx's face revealed striking similarities with the statues of King Khafra. The Sphinx has captured the imagination of travelers and explorers for thousands of years, even in ancient Egyptian times. He was called Hormukhet Horus on the horizon. And King Amenhotep II, about 1427 to 1400 BC, built a temple next to the statue of the Sphinx, which he dedicated to this god. Also, his son Thutmose IV, 1400 to 1390 BC, erected a huge panel between his front feet, which is called the Dream Board, in which he recorded a wonderful event. The Sphinx is also considered one of the largest complete statues in the world, which comes with a human face and is said to be the face of King Khafra, while the body comes to a lion. Menkaure. After Khafra's death, Menkaure took power and began building the pyramid complex in addition to building a temple in Giza. King Menkaure building 3 pyramids on the Giza plateau. He is the son of Khafra and the grandson of Khufu. This small size was due to several factors. The original pyramid is 65 meters high. The area of the base of the pyramid is small compared to the pyramids of its predecessors, which makes the Pyramid of Menkaure as the smallest, including the small area remaining on the Giza plateau, where his ancestors used limestone to cover their pyramids, while Menkaure used granite brought from Aswan more than 800 kilometers from Giza. However, only the lower quadrant of the pyramid is covered with granite, while the rest of the pyramid was covered with limestone. As it was next to the Great Pyramid, 3 smaller pyramids can be seen next to the Menkaure pyramid, those pyramids that were used to bury the queens of his era. But it is believed that the largest pyramid of the 3 queens was the pyramid. Not many blocks of the pyramid's granite cladding were polished. The mortuary temple and the private valley temple were supposed to consist of huge blocks of limestone covered with granite, but they were actually built using white adobe.